Hi, hello, happy Sabbath and Shabbat Shalom. Yes, fine job, Dilly Dell. Good morning. Waterteller. Candy. Snowflake. Sally Sally. Yes, what you doing? Good morning. There's Mr. Snookums over there. How's everybody doing this fine Sabbath day? Well, your replacement is potentially on the way, Mr. Snookums. There's Gretel. Boy, she's filling out so nice. Even though she's still got glitches on her neck, they're clearing up quite a bit. Yes. Gretel. That's her boy right there. He's almost as big as she is, and he's not but 9 months old, and she's a little over 2 years old. Of course, she was not supposed to get pregnant until after 2 years old, but she's filling out. She's got a lot more softness in her body. She's not as bare bones as she was, so I'm really pleased and thankful for her development back into a healthy baby. Hopefully she'll be back in a herd someday, I don't know. Everybody else in here is all good and fat like ticks. You use your snippy snap. It's a Goldilocks. It's a dinner. What are you doing, Goldilocks? You gonna eat my camera? Yeah. So for the most part, yes, what you doing? For the most part, they're all in pretty good shape. In the meantime, do I got something on my hands? You gonna eat my hands? We're supposed to have cold weather again. I didn't know. I don't know if I showed this or not before. The boys proceeded to thermally knock my wall project completely down, which is no problem really. I just had to dig all that out, put a concrete footing in, and tie it in, so that all that's in. But they knocked that over, and that's why it's laying on its side instead of standing up. Just part of the fact that I never got it done when I was sick. But been doing some stuff. Excuse me, Gretel. Come on. Move your butt. Alright. So, up here, now, I don't know if it was just old age or the frost or both, but the, my brain went dead. Cucumbers, pretty much given up the ghost for the year. I've got all the cucumbers now in. I brought 2 more in yesterday. They hide under the leaves, and now that the leaves are falling off, I found a few more. So pretty soon I should be making up pickles. Everything else seems to have survived the frost. Let's go this way. See that potato there? Oh, look at that. I spoke too soon. Look, here's another cucumber. Well, they just seem to magically appear out of nowhere. Oh well. Now maybe I have them all. I doubt it. Next day or so, I'll probably find a couple more. Just how it works. This thing made cucumbers coming and going. This thing that I was complaining earlier in the year wasn't making nothing. I gave it phosphorus, and look, they're starting to really put out some nice big fat tomatoes. This thing, while the squirrels were devouring all this little tomatoes faster than I could find them, I don't even know if the squirrels aren't in hibernation by now. But, so yeah, I got bunches of tomatoes. Still not sure what we're going to do with this sage, but it's in its pot, so if it needs to go inside, we can. Of course, I've been using the hay. Even though it's been falling over on the ground, I just use it up as it goes. It hasn't rained a lot, so until it starts to rain, I'm not going to suffer a whole lot of water damage to the hay, thankfully. I do eventually need to put a greenhouse thing kind of out here. So I've got some window panels that I think I've shown before. I'll show them again here in a minute. Because I'm going to move those other tomatoes. I've decided I'm going to put another row out here, move them out here, and they'll be pots, two layers deep. Now you see these lentils, they're up to about 5 inches tall, and they're bushing out pretty nice. I put a couple peanuts in here. They may not germinate. They're old peanuts. They're still in the shell, and they may or may not germinate, but I put them in there just out of novelty. And then I put something else in here. Oh yeah, I put some those cherry tomato seeds in there from a very ripe cherry tomato. Alright, these Romas are looking pretty rich. Hopefully they will be. Two of these right here, these right here are the bigger tomato breed. They're just coming around the back side of the, they're just growing this direction, kind of towards the sun. But I've got loads and loads and loads of Roman tomatoes. Looks like these got bit by the frost just a little bit, but I don't know if they're gonna, if they're alive or dead. I'm just gonna leave them there for a little while because they should ripen anyhow. So, and there's some more of the larger tomatoes there. So overall, after adding some phosphorus, they did go ahead and set some fruit. Just late in the year, and now that we're coming up on frost, hopefully we'll be able to shield them from frost long enough to come to ripeness, and maybe even just keep them growing all winter long. I'd rather, if I can, just keep them going. Then, of course, the yarrow in here has taken good root. The other stuff on the other side just about drowned out because somehow or another, I guess there's not a hole in the bottom of the box or something. Some of the peppers in here are just about a little over an inch, inch and a quarter long. Whole bunches of them. Mom thought she saw one in here with blossom endrite, but I'm not seeing it. I'm seeing lots and lots of healthy peppers late in the year, but yeah, I'm not seeing any with blossom endrite. And that broken off piece, both the broken off pieces still have green stems. They may or may not survive. And if they do, great. If they don't, well, it's just one of them deals when you get goats. The strawberry plants have richened up quite a bit, and they're still growing. You might or might not notice that there's about 2.5 inches of recession of soil there because it was hay and straw underneath that that's composting down, and therefore it's taking up less space, and so it needs more soil over the top. Well, I don't know of any flowers that are up right now. See, these covers right here are what I will cover the plants with to keep the frost off of them. But for the most part, these fields, most of the flowers have given up since the last frost. There might be some over on this side. I'm not for sure. But I've been working this past week, and I've gotten some stuff done. So I feel pretty good about that. I feel good, as in the surgery is still having a positive effect on my overall energy and strength and stamina. So I was worried it might be one of these little flash in the pans and then I'd go back to being sick. But so far, God's been graceful to me, and I've had good and strong health. I may still have enough motivation to pick some of those mint plants. If you have a few leaves left. I'm not for sure. They may all fall off before I get around to it. So the whole thing is, we are going to, not too long from now, go up to a friend of ours and buy another buck. And when we do, we'll put him in here in quarantine. Well, I've been meaning to put a real shed in here for a long time. See, I've got more wire because the wire that's there right now, he can climb right over, no problem. And I'm going to probably need more wire than this. This is just some of it that a friend gave me. And the idea is I'm going to take that hay crib, face it on this wall, and I'm going to put an upright chute off this other wall over here so that the feeder bin will be inside the building. And a person can come over here, probably somewhere around here, lift the lid up, pour drain down, and it'll go in through the wall into a pan there that the boy can eat from. And then there'll be a door, both to reduce the amount of wind, and when I need to handle him, I can close the door behind him when he's eating, and that'll make it where I can just go in behind him and catch him and handle him. When he's back out of here, he'll go over to that field, and then Mr. Snookums will probably go over here. We're not for sure what'll happen to Mr. Snookums. He may become dinner at one point, I'm not for sure. Or he may go up for sale. We haven't decided on that yet. But this whole thing is roughly 7'4" across right now by somewhere around 8 foot long, roughly. 7'9" plus 1.25" on each side, so roughly 7'4" by 8 foot or so. And it's going to have a sheet metal roof and sheet metal walls, except for a plywood door. Now, this is some of that steel that was in there originally. I ended up using this frame as a template to hold the parts up while I was building it. It was extra hands, effectively, so that's why it's still in here. I've got to take it apart, take it out of here. And but like this plywood door on this gate's what I'm going to have put on the door of the building there. Let's go look at that. I've got it partly built already. It's a funny thing. I use this truck a lot as a workbench. It's a very handy workbench. You'll see a lot of my projects end up on the back of this truck. When I had Little Red finished, I used it as a workbench, and I will probably again in the future. So I've got a lot of my tools out. It hasn't been raining, so I haven't been worried about putting them away. So what I've got here, this piece of guttering will go over the top of the door, just so that he can walk in and out, because this door will most of the time be open and not in his way at all. But to walk in and out, if it's raining, I want this gutter just so he can walk through the middle and stay dry. It says 30-inch door, 30 inches by 37 inches for a 30.5" by 39.5" thing. So there'll be about 1.25" gap on the top and the bottom, and I'll have hinges and latches and stuff on it at a later date. And it's all scrap plywood. It's not new plywood. The oak I bought, I'm just about completely out. I'm almost totally out of oak. I've got just about enough to finish that project. I gotta go buy some more. So that's pretty much what I've been doing this week. There are a couple flowers over here, a couple waxweed, a couple of verbena, 1 or 2 stray sunflowers. That's about it. Oh yeah, the asters. The asters are going to beat the band where their goats haven't eaten them all. They seem to like populating in water. It doesn't seem to bother them from blooming one bit. But oh well, very pretty flowers. Small but pretty. The bachelor buttons are also part of the aster family, as is wild lettuce and lettuce in general, but they've done their thing for the year. They kind of like warmer weather. But the asters are doing pretty well. Then when they're done, I think that's about the last flower for the year. Pretty much. And still haven't figured out where I'm going to put this. It's going dormant, but it hasn't had the bottom frozen. I need to figure out real quick before it gets too cold what I need to do with it. Because if the roots freeze, it may kill it. So I got to figure out. Right now it's just under this drip and it keeps it watered. But when I get into the whole harsher weather, it's going to be freezing out here sometimes. And so I got to figure out what to do from there. That's pretty much everything. A little shorter than usual. Oh yeah, I need to probably take the keys out and roll the window up before it next rains. So make it just walk along and start this thing and drive off with it. Yes, unfortunately I am pretty neglectful in these things. And since I already showed you the shelves, there's no reason to go back in there and show you. Oh yeah, there's these other steel frames that I pulled out of there. So I'll find something else to do with them. They're still good. They're just done being what they were up there. They didn't do anything up there originally because I thought they would and they didn't. So I'll end up turning around and doing something else with them. These decorative pieces of steel here, I'll probably cut them free where they've been welded and straighten them all out into steel strap again, and then use them for various applications. A lot of the stuff I get, stuff people have given me that they've thrown away. They've even been thinking about taking, instead of making a go-kart, making a sawmill with these pieces of aluminum. Not sure that's the best idea for them, but if I'm careful, I've got a lot of trees I need, a lot of wood. Even if I made a temporary sawmill, it'd be better than no sawmill at all. Otherwise, I'm probably going to have to buy some long straight steel, because I'm going to need, in fact, I'm thinking what I'm going to end up doing, and I've mentioned this before, is I've been talking about making a hay cart out of that little Ford pickup frame. Well, if I do it right, I can make it both a hay cart and a sawmill at the same time, because it'll be a portable sawmill, and I can just put decking over it to haul hay and pull the saw head off when I'm hauling hay with it. And it'll go from being truck parts to cross between a hay crib and a hay wagon and a sawmill. Be real handy then. And I won't have, the head will all come off with the motor, so the motor won't be permanently tied to the hay crib, hay wagon, bottom part of it. So I can pull it all disassembled down low and then stack it up on site if I have to pull it somewhere to cut timber off the property. I got plenty of dead trees that I need to cut, some live trees I need to cut. People say, you gotta cut all your big trees? Probably not all of them, but a lot of them, because I need the timber, and I need the timber to season out. So the sooner I cut them, the sooner they season out, then the sooner I can make, you know, cut them up and make final boards and stuff out of them. And I've got a lot of trees around here that are starting to fall down. I've got several dead ones that have to be lowered before they turn to mush and before they tear up fences. So lots and lots to do. And other things. But that's it for now. And I've mentioned everything I've done and things I haven't done. So we will show you again if there's any changes next Sabbath. So shalom, and have a wonderful rest of your Sabbath and a beautiful and prosperous next week. And hopefully we'll see you in here next Sabbath. Bye for now.